Hey folks, it's Rivgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I'm just going to bale up the last little bits here, which I completely forgot about at the end of our last episode. So I'm going to get hold of them all now. Actually, I tell you what, we could really do with the front weight. So let me just stop that one, lift that one up, and I'm going to unhitch it just to be able to shunt around here a little bit faster, just to speed things up a little bit. We will go and grab this front weight right here. There we go. And then we can go and get this baling going. And then as soon as we've done that, we can then go and get the wrapper, and we can wrap up the rest of the bales that are on the ground, and then we can get our trailer and we can start shunting the bales around. We're going to just be bringing them back over here, and actually I can't remember now. What was the price of silage? $298. It's just now starting to drop, but at $298 it is well above the $250 is the target that we want. $250 is our sort of cutoff point. So as long as it's above $250, we're happy. And $298, that is pretty swish actually. I'm quite pleased with $298. So if we can have that, I mean it may drop to $295 before we actually get to selling the bales again. I'm not too fast. That's not like a massive reduction, and it's a nice long way above the target of $250, which makes $1,000 per bale for standard bales, or $2,000 per bale for our bales, because we've got slightly bigger bales. That's what we have. We've got our 8,000 litre bales. So we shouldn't have any issues with any of these whatsoever. I've got a little tiny bit of grass there on the side that I mustn't forget. And this bit of grass that we've got here, I'm quite glad that we did do this now. There seems to be quite a bit that we ended up getting left behind here with, with the other mowers. So when we went through and we did it with the new mowers, it did leave quite a slice behind. Now, one thing that I would like to consider getting at some point soon is a bigger set of mowers, and have butterfly mowers along with the new ones, the ones from the mod hub, the modded, what are they, the butterfly mowers that, well, they leave it down in windrows. I'm using it on the Alp series, but the great thing about them is that they don't really cost, well, I don't think they do. I don't know if I've got them in this map, though. And I thought to myself that those would be really good. I mean, it's great the way that we're doing it at the moment, but the only problem with it is under here, under mowers. No, I don't have them active at the moment, but it's essentially a set of the Pottinger ones right here that have extra width on them. Well, not all that much extra width, I don't think. I think, actually, no, they might be the same. But no, the great thing about them is that they have the ability to leave the stuff behind in a windrow. So we just go over once with the mowers, and then that's it. You got windrows up and down the field, and then you can go over it with the baler. I mean, we do go back to this malarkey where we're riding around, driving up and down the rows doing our baling, and instead of having the hired help doing the baling, which is kind of why we started doing the other method of having the front mower and the baler, because then the hired help can go and do it all, and we don't have to worry about it in the slightest. And that's actually a really good thing. I like that we can do that. But at the same time, it still takes quite a while. I mean, as we progress and we get a bit more land and we have more crops and stuff available, it might change. The situation might change quite a bit, and we'll be able to trust the hired help a little bit more with just carrying on doing the grass and the baling. But at the same time, we'll also be able to do a few other bits as well. It's like we'll have more things to keep us occupied while we're doing that baling. Because at the moment, we sort of, it takes such a long time to do all the baling that we end up sort of, well, not exactly losing interest as such, but well, we end up spending rather a lot of time with very little to do because of the fact that we are focusing so much on doing all of the baling. And I'd like to try and move away from that, if possible. So we'll see how it pans out. Obviously, most of my carefully laid plans don't usually amount to very much. We end up with complete abject failures for plans rather than anything particularly useful. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. My plan of getting the combine, though, I don't think that is going to be a failure. I think that is going to work beautifully. We're going to have combine. We're going to have arable crops. We're going to have all sorts. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. Mark my words. Now, come up round there. And bring you down here. That's... I'll tell you what, we're doing pretty well with this. There's 2 bales that are out on the ground already, or just about out on the ground. It's going to be any second now. And there's another one in the chamber. That one's done as well. So I think we're going to end up with several bales from doing this extra little bit of mowing. And it wasn't like it took us a load of extra time. We did this while the tractor was going up and down, still doing its standard mowing. So we didn't lose out on anything. All that we've done here is we've gathered up the extra bit of grass that we've left previously, and this time we've actually made good use of it, and we've gotten several good bales out of it. Now, if each bale is going to get us in excess of $2,000, there's another 10 grand that we've already gone and baled up. This baler does seem to be going a bit slow, though, doesn't it? Is it just me, or does the baler seem to be going slow? I don't remember it being quite this slow. I'm wondering if that's why we struggled a bit. Maybe it needs to be... it could very well actually need to be repaired. Maybe that's what the whole issue was. Because this seems to me to be going quite slowly. I'm going to just do... Actually, yeah, I will. I will do this entire row. And then I will go and take the baler over to the repair shop. And we will see if something needs repairing. I mean, the tractor itself is below a quarter now, but I don't think it's below a half, I think, is where the actual cutoff point for needing repairs is. If it's above half, it doesn't really have any impact on it. If it's below the halfway point, that's when it starts to have an actual impact and starts to slow things down and make a difference to the performance. So just bring this one along. I want to get rid of that bale that's hanging out over the end. There we go. Right. I was going to just come away from that, but I don't really want to do that. I want to finish off this run. Finish off this run here, like this, and then we'll go over to the shop. I am certain that this is running slower than it should. 8 miles an hour. I thought it ran at 12. I thought 12 was the cutoff point. So let's bring you into here. I mean, the tractor itself is in need of a bit of maintenance. There's no denying that. So let's have a look. Let's see what we've got in here. So, tractor, I will repair that one for $477. And then... Ah! The condition of the baler is deteriorated somewhat over recent times. And that might explain why it's been going so slowly. And that might also explain why it took so long to do all of the baling up on the field up over there. Because the repair state was down to 0 on the baler. I didn't even realize. There we go. Look at this. 12 miles an hour. I thought it was supposed to go faster than 8. I didn't sort of twig to start with. I'm just sort of going along, chugging about at 8 miles an hour, thinking, oh, nothing wrong here. Everything seems fine. Nope. Everything is definitely not fine. We're going a wee bit slower than we should. Right. Well, this definitely livened things up a bit. I tell you what. Doing the grass and stuff, doing the mowing in order to occupy our time while we're waiting for the baling. That's all well and good, but it would probably be a good idea if we kept an eye on the maintenance level of the actual baler itself, because it would appear that the thing seems a lot more lively when it's actually fully repaired and functioning properly. Whoever would have guessed such a thing could even be just... I just... wouldn't even occur to me, it wouldn't have ever occurred to me that such a thing could even be a thing. I'm gobsmacked. I really am. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. Right, let's see if we can get this bit of grass right here. Here we can. One sweet, one fell move right across there. And, oh, we got a double bit of grass down over there. Just a tiny little bit where it wasn't quite enough to be met up with one. Racing down through. That bale is adamant that it's not coming off of the baler, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Finally relinquished its hold. I know I'm turning really sharp there. You should not turn sharp like that. It is not good for the machinery at all in any way, shape, or form. But I'm doing it anyway. Sometimes you got to. Sometimes you don't really have much of a choice. I mean, you try to avoid it. And if I was doing that in real life, I would have swung out round in a wide circle or done some reversing or something. But yeah. Sometimes, even in real life, though, you can't actually avoid the sharp turns. And you just kind of got to do it as quickly as you can and ignore the sort of chacking sound that it makes as you're turning the corner sharp, and just hope and pray that the universal joint will hold and won't actually give up on you completely. Because if he does give up on you completely, things are going to go horribly wrong. I'm not going to bother talking about that today, though. I've talked about that a lot previously, so I don't need to mention it now. I wouldn't mind being able to get rid of those signs. I have mentioned that before, and I will probably mention it again before this series is out, that I wouldn't mind getting rid of the road signs all along the edge of this field here. Maybe we ought to do something else. Like with the road, maybe there's something that we could do with the sign. I left a little bit of grass there, but it didn't cut. That wasn't very good of me. Completely missed that. Right, there's one bale there. Are we going to get one more bale? We should certainly make one more bale in the chamber, because, I mean, look, I've just gone 5,500 up to 6,250. So we'll definitely have one more full one in the chamber, which is going to be... There's one bale in there that's already made, and this is the next one that is making. And that one is going to be finished. And then, no, it's not going to do another one. It'll just start on the next one. We've got just over 1,000 litres to finish off this bale right here. And now we've got less than 500. It may even do it on this little scraggly bit. Oh, maybe not. Is it? I'll tell you what, it's pretty close, 98%. So, no, we didn't do it on the scraggly bit, but that little bit over there, that will finish it up, and that is the very last of it. So, we've got 2 more bales that we're going to dump down over here. And I'll leave them both over here. There we go. That's finished it, and we're on to the next one. So now I can bring that round, I can stop it like that, and then I can just dump these bales out onto the ground as we run away, like that, and then start folding the baler up. Right. There's another job done. I next need to go through and wrap these new bales that we've done. So we've got one over there in the corner, I've got 1, 2, 3 here by the big stone, and then there's another 3 bales down over there. So there's 7 bales that we got all together. At $2,000 a bale, that is $14,000 on top of everything that we've already got, which is, I'd say, pretty good. I don't think we can complain about that. Right, let's just stop there a second, and we'll hose everything off. I could actually set the timescale back to 5 times speed, because we've now finished doing all of the baling, so I ought to do that. Baling is all done. The grass is finished. I know that we've still got to do the wrapping, but that bit doesn't matter if we've got the 5 times speed on, because we don't have seasons or anything, so we're not losing the quality of the grass or anything like that that is inside the bales. The bales are not slowly deteriorating. They just stay as they are. We're not losing out on anything by the time going by faster, and we're supposed to have the time going by faster, generally speaking. What, the dirt is really ingrained into it this time. Look at that. Look, see right there on the fuel tank. It's taking its time coming off. There, I think we've got that now. And then we've got a little bit on the front weight. We didn't use this one very much. And it was pretty much clean when we last used it anyway. So that one we shouldn't have much of a problem. Now, the question is, do I use the old Deutz to go and do the rest of the wrapping? Or do I use the case to go and do the rest of the wrapping? And... personally, I'm thinking I want to use the case. It'd probably be more sensible to use the Deutz, because it's a lighter tractor, so you're avoiding compaction issues. And on top of that, it's also a... we've got the mower there that we need to clean as well. We'll do that at some point. I don't know when. Yeah, we've got the whole compaction issues to take care of. And then we've also got... where am I going to put this? I think I'll put the baler back here. The fact that the Deutz would use less fuel than this tractor. You don't want to be using a bigger tractor than you have to because of the whole fuel issues, and fuel can be expensive. It can sort of mount up over time, and it starts to get quite expensive. However, I don't want to use the Deutz. I'm sort of reluctant to go spending too much time using that thing. So I'm going to use this one today. Finish up wrapping these bales. It shouldn't take too long. Like I said, we've got 7 here, so I'll get these 3 over this side, and then we will go up into the hill field, and we will get that one. Bring that back round over to there. Now, you watch. I hitch this on, and it's going to... Yeah, see, it always tries to straighten it out when you hitch the thing on. Not quite sure why it has to do that. Bring you in there. See, if you hit the bale right, it doesn't really matter what sort of angle it goes in. It will still shove the bale into the machine, and it works beautifully. So I'll do that like that. Somebody was asking a day or two ago what mod this one is. It's on the mod hub. However, I took it off and I sped up the wrapping time on it. I can't remember currently what the number is, but go into the XML file and have a look down through the list. And there's something in there about wrapping speed or animation speed or something, and I just changed it from a 1 to a 2. That's all I've done. I haven't really... Save the original, and then when you go to do your new bit of work... You save your original first, then go and do your new bit of work on it. And then after you've done your new bit of work, you take it into the game. Only alter one thing at a time. Take it into the game, test it out, and if it works, ideal, then you know you got your right one. If it doesn't work, then you go back, you revert the changes, and you try again. You don't have to revert the changes, you can just delete the mod, and you can copy in the saved one that you went and saved. And this is one of the good reasons for saving. See all these little bits that we've left behind where that mower was not behaving as it should have done. Gathered up more grass than it should have done, and it didn't, and it just sort of held it in a great big bundle and then dumped it all at once. There's something that was not letting it be dropped down. Now we know that that does happen next to roads, but quite why it was happening in this field, I'm not quite sure, and by the comments that I seen last week, most of you aren't really sure either. It's just something that you know does happen from time to time on different maps that you've used, but you can't quite sort of fathom out why it's doing it. So yes, it seems to be a bit of a mystery for many of us as to why we're getting this whole thing happening. We'll have to see. Maybe somebody will be able to come up with an actual reason why it's happening. It's obviously something to do with either the mower itself picking up a false signal that it's blocked from dropping, in which case there's an issue with the in-game mowers because that's a base game mower, or it's to do with the map, and the map is sending a signal that it can't be dropped down here. So maybe there's a mask that's been put over it that shouldn't be there or something like that. I don't really know. The only time I seen it happen on... I haven't seen it happen anywhere on the Ravenport map, and the only time I've seen it happen on the Felsbrunn map was the field that I had on the time-lapse series, that where you sell the bales on Felsbrunn, I had a field the opposite side of the road to that one, and I ploughed out an extra section down next to the road all the way down through to make that field bigger. Joined 2 fields together as well right there. And that bit, going down next to the road, when I was mowing close to the road, it would do it. If I stayed a little bit further away from the road, it wouldn't do it at all. The closer I got to the road, the more it would do it. So there was obviously a mask right against the road that wouldn't let you drop the grass down on top of the road. And for some reason, that same sort of mask is present on here in places, but quite why it's present I don't really know. Whether it's something to do with the trees and the fact that we've removed trees from the map, there could be something to do with that that's causing it. Like the hired help is no longer recognizing that there are trees there, which is, you know, great. It really is progress. But at the same time, the map is still saying, well, actually, we think there are trees here, and this is why you shouldn't be dumping grass on top of us. Or maybe it just thinks that there's something else there. Like if the map thinks that there's grain or something like that underneath, then it's not going to let you drop the new stuff down, is it? Because it doesn't like you mixing two things, one on top of the other. Right, if you've got a mower and you're mowing over the top of hay, you've got hay underneath you, but you've got grass off to one side of you, and you're sort of going off between the two. It's going to group it up in the mower, and it's not going to let you drop it so that it doesn't mix the hay on the ground. This is my theory. So I'm thinking that maybe there's some sort of mask there that it might not be to do with the actual map making process. It might be to do with what we've done, our work on the map, in just putting everything in place on here. Alright, just having a drink, wetting my whistle. We come over here and we can grab that bale, and we got two more that we need to wrap up, and that is all of the bales done and dusted. Then all we got to do is go and gather them up with our trailer and take them back and sell them. That's the easy bit, and it's also the fun bit. It's always the bit that I like to do. 294 we're down to, so it's dropping quite rapidly. That's why I wanted to keep it on 1x speed. So I'm going to adjust it back to the 1x speed so that we've got the price set, because I think that's quite acceptable. I forgot about that. So we've lost a couple of dollars per 1,000 litres, but it's not the end of the world. All right, we'll leave it as it is now. There we go. That's that bit done. That one can close up like that. I will drop that one down, and I will grab the bale trailer. I say baler, it's not the baler, it's the bale trailer. I'll grab that one, and then we can go and do some gathering of bales and selling of bales as well, as quickly as we can. And then after we've done all that, then we can put the time going back, and we can worry about putting all of our machinery away as well. So I'm going to go up this way. I'm going to go up that hill first. And I'm going to gather all the bales up on the hill. Now, it should be U. We got large square bales. Yes, we do. Press U like that. And then when I get close enough to the bales, it should start picking them up. Like that. Yes. And yes, I know I'm not making time go faster while I'm using this. That's because I don't want to be losing out on our magnificent price that we've got at the moment. Once the price is set, we've now got an agreed price, so I think it's quite acceptable for us to do that. We'll worry about fast-forwarding the time afterwards. We'll do a time penalty. I know most of you aren't sort of too fussed about the whole time thing, but I also know that some of you do think I need to pay attention to the time thing. As I said, it was supposed to be 5x speed at all times, unless I'm auto-loading, in which case we switch to 30x speed, so that we can, is it 30 or 15? 30x speed, so to sort of simulate how much time it would have taken to load up the trailers, because it's supposed to be a hardcore series, and if I'm cutting corners by using autoload, there's got to be a penalty paid. So I will pay the penalties. That's what I'm doing. And if you look, you can see there was a line of bits of grass up there, which sort of all in the same place. It's like there's a straight line going through there of an area, a spot that is not allowing us to put the bales on. So there's something there under the map. That's what I think. I think it's something on the map that is causing it. Quite what it would be, I'm not really sure. I would guess that it's to do with us moving the trees and then making the field afterwards. I reckon it's got to be something to do with that. I can't see it would be anything else. Doesn't sort of make a lot of sense that it would be anything else. I mean, maybe it is. People who've had this issue before, was this in fields that you made, or was this in fields that were already existing? Right, so we've gotten that far. I now need to unload the load like that, and then we can put the bales on the trailer. I always like to do this. I know that I auto-load them, but I also like, when I'm moving the bales, I always like to have the bales unloaded onto the trailer like that, because it just makes it seem a little bit more real. It definitely just makes the whole thing seem a bit more realistic. Now, I'm going to bring it to here, and I'm actually going to unload, and I'm going to load it back onto the trailer right here, so that I can unload it in a minute. There, that's going to put it behind the trailer, like that. Because I want to unload it like that. There. Dump it down. $56,000 for one trailer load of bales. We're going to go back and we're going to do that again now. So I will grab these and we'll run down the other end of the field and we'll get all of the bales down that end. We're going to get at least 2 full trailers from this, which is 24, it's 48 bales that we're going to get at least. And then some more besides. And you've got to remember that a good chunk of this was only 60% grown. So all of that hill up there, next time we do bales on that hill, there's going to be a huge amount more than there was in this harvest. Plus a slice up through this field as well is going to be like that. So we're going to do all right, I think. At the next time round, I think we're going to end up with, well, another half a trailer at least. And the amount that we had up through here maybe is another half a trailer maybe. I was saying maybe another full trailer, but I don't think it's going to be quite a full trailer load. I don't think it would be quite that many. Right, round this way. See, if I was making that turn when we had actual bales unloaded onto the trailer, it would have tipped the trailer upside down. So there's 2 full trailer loads right there, like that, and then unload that onto the trailer like that, and then off we go again. You turn too sharp with this, well, turn fast and sharp with this when you've got the bales unloaded onto the trailer. That's when bad things happen. You can still travel along at a reasonable rate, but you do have to be much more conscious of the fact that the trailer can flop over onto its side and cause all manner of problems. So I bring you up to there. I'm going to do exactly the same as I did last time. I know that I'm not going very far with the whole bales being actually loaded onto the trailer, but at least I'm doing it. At least I am actually doing it a little bit, even if I'm not doing it very much. We'll bring you to about there, I think, and then we'll unload, and there's another $56,000. That makes $235,000 that we've got at the moment. And on top of that, we've got a big pile of timber sat in the yard waiting to be taken over to the mill and sold, which is going to be another pile of money, which makes me think that we might actually be in a position to not do any more bales at all this time round. We might be able to afford to buy the grain bin and the combine and the sprayer and anything else that we might want in order to be able to do our first ever harvest right here on our land. I'm actually hoping that that is the case. That would be very, very cool if that's the case. Like with the timber that we've got there, plus the rest of these bales, there's another 9, so there's going to be over $18,000 right here. And I'll do that, and I'll load it onto there, and we put the straps on again. And then we head over the bridge. Go and unload these. So, where are we going to actually put our grain bin? That's going to be our next thing, isn't it? We've got to decide where we're going to put this thing. Go like that now. We just quickly unload these bales here, and then we can worry about the other bits. So unload those there like that. There's $21,000 for those extra few bales. That puts us to over $250,000 to our name right now. $250,000. So we've got things that we're going to need to do now. I want to sell the tent. Although, some people were saying last week, actually, because I was talking about selling the tent, and some people were saying last week, well, actually, let me just put that back up to, you know what, we need to just fast forward time a little bit to make up for our sellings. People are saying, actually, that farmhouse there, don't know. You know, some people are saying that that was the better one. Some people are saying, well, actually, these here, especially in the cold northern states in the US, they would be very well insulated, and you probably would have a wood-burning stove, not some propane monstrosity in there. They tend to make these houses, these portable cabins, caravans and that, quite well. over in the US. I mean, admittedly, it's been a long time since I've had anything to do with them, and the ones that I have had anything to do with have been rather old, so I'm quite willing to be educated on that front. So it would appear that it's time to be selling our tent and then purchasing our new place over here. Now, I'm still thinking that I'd like to put it here in front of this rock, because this great big stone is causing me nothing but headaches all the time when it comes to, like, dealing with all the crops. So I'd quite like to just sort of remove a bit of that area there. Now, we're up to 1400. I'm gonna scramble up on here, shall we? We can see what we're doing up here. We'll go until 1500, and then we will stop, and then we want to start putting things out. So if we're going to change our house over, some people were saying that we should have our house back over there where the tent is, and leave it there. That would be the best spot for it. So there we go. I'll bring that back to 5 times. Other people were saying, well, actually, yes, we should have it over here. Only 1 item allowed per farm. And it's a big area up here, so I'm not really going to make use of all of that. A lot of people are of the opinion that I should be putting it here instead of the tent. And it should be over this side. This is where it should stay, kind of where it's been up until now. And then this bit here, we could put the grain bins over here. Right? That would be a good spot for the grain bins. We've got our sell point over here. We haven't really got room for putting the grain bins over here somewhere. So if we were to put the grain over that side, it would make more sense. And we could sort of bite into the landscape a little bit there to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to the garage like this. And we're going to go up through... Wait, did I just go past the tent? No, I don't think I did. There's my tent right there. And I'm going to sell that one. Yes. Okay. That one has now been sold. And then I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go to farmhouses. And I'm going to go there. And this is the one that we want. Now, I'm actually quite happy to have it pretty much like it was before. Like, just right there, and I like the angle that it's set at as well. That seems to be about right. And this is going to set it back as well a little bit. We'll end up having a little bit more room here. So I'm going to drop that one down right there. That's a good spot for that, I think. I'm not happy with the way things have panned out with it now. Like, with the bits underneath it. I'm not happy with those, but we'll worry about that in a bit. So now silos, and we want the large grain silo here. So I need to be able to load the silo and then unload it. So I'd like it to be that way round there, and I want it to be back in here. But in order to get it back in there, we're gonna have to do some landscaping. Now I know that the landscaping is not to everybody's tastes. One thing I would like to do is, there's no point in building our caravan over here on mud. I don't think we should be doing that, so we're going to go away from the sculpting bit. I'm going to change landscaping mode. We're going to go to painting, and I'm going to change the ground type to that type there, which is what we've got here. And then I'm going to try and just paint back towards this caravan a little bit, if I can. In here. Like that. Now, I know that I've got some mud over the other side of it, but I mean, if you look at the way that the sun's shadow comes down, I think that's actually alright, because you are going to end up with some muddy patches like that. So a couple of muddy patches like that, that's fine. The other bit that I want to do is we want to change landscaping mode again. I want to come over here and I want to level out a little bit over here. So I need to flatten like that. And I want to bring that out like this. Now we are actually flattening it right down hard on here. And that's what I want to do. So that bit there is going to be flattened out. And then I'm going to come out like that. There's the flattening bit. And I'll come over here. And... right. so far so good with that. I don't want to be doing too much of it. I only want to do what we absolutely have to do with that. There we go. And then rotate that one round, because I'd like the tipping bit to be behind, and I'd like the other bit to be in front. So let me rotate me back round over here. And I'll rotate that round a little bit more, like that. There. Right. I'd like it to be like that. That, I think, is pretty good. So then we're going to go back into landscaping again. And we've done some bit here. I've done some bits over to this side now. We're going to need to just extend out the road up here. So we're going to want that bit to just come up like this. We're going to dig into this hillside here a little bit. It's going to cost us a bit of money to do that. There, we'll come back down here like this. Right. So that's going to come around there. And then I've got concrete over there. I'm not going to do all of it as concrete. And then the rest of this over here, there's not really very much that's going to have to be changed on that. So I don't need to do any more leveling. I can switch that one over. And now we've got our ground type there. Now, this is all concrete that we've put out here. So I'm going to put a little bit more concrete down. I'm going to switch through and I'm going to find the concrete. Is that the concrete that we're using? Nope. That's the concrete that we're using. Okay. So I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to bring that out like that. And this is going to be the concrete that we use. I'm going to concrete out a section of this like this. Go back in tight-ish to the edge like that. And I'm going to I'm pouring concrete all the way back through there like that. Over to this edge. And I'm going to do the same over here. Bring a bit of concrete out through, and we'll fill in all of this bit here with concrete. Up there like that. So that I got room to swing out round off of there. And then come in off. So we've now got our grain silo in there. And I've got room here that I'll be able to put another one in, an extra storage bit. There's another bit that I want to do here. First up, I want to get rid of a little bit of this, but we want to smooth that. So the way we'll do that is if I switch over my landscaping mode, and all I'm going to do is just kind of smooth the edge like this. There, like that. There, it's just turning it into more of a bank than anything too sharp on that. And then the other bit that I want to do is I want to go back onto, not that one, I want to go to this one, and then I want to change back to this, and that wants to go up there. So this is going to be a bit of a dirt track coming up there. Like that, just up into the field. That's all it needs to do, is just get up into the field a little bit. Blend that down a little bit on the edge. Right, I'm quite happy with that. I know that we've still got a little bit of a strip inside there, but I'm also quite happy to leave that little bit of a strip for now, and we'll do something else with it. So we've now got our grain. That's all in there. We've got the yard bit that we can come in round and we'll be able to tip stuff out. We got $45,000 at the moment, which means that we will have more money to come later on. See, I've got a road that goes, a track that goes up into this field straight from the side of the yard there. Plus, we've now got a massive great big grain storage, which is absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I have run out of time now, so if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.